I appreciate everybody making time, taking time out of their schedule to come down. So, um, I kind of wanted to talk about the fire that we had back in September while it's fresh on the mind. I'm not sure if anybody else has been through like an event like that. I know Nate has, um, but never in a million years would I have thought that we would have went through it. So maybe there's some takeaways that you guys could take back to your shops that could potentially keep you from going through that same thing. So we had it back in September of last year. Basically, normal day, other than the fact that we lost on the same day and that morning, we lost one of our big accounts, like 5 routes a week. That was at about what, 9 or 10 a.m. And then fast forward up to about 9 or 10 at night. Next thing I know, cameras are going crazy, shop's on fire. Um, Essentially, the whole process, I had a truck burned down, caught on fire. It was inconclusive from the investigators. Took about 4 or 5 investigators. No telling how much that cost, but um, just to come up and say that they don't know what started it. All right. I've got a pretty good idea that it was more than likely a wire on a starter on an older truck of ours, or it could have been possibly a headlamp pinched under a seat, like a lithium battery. Um, I will say this: if it wasn't for cameras and ELD systems on our trucks, stuff that was in place more for like, oh, let's just kind of check in on the crew, where the trucks are at. Let's track fuel efficiency, or, let's just make sure nobody breaks into the shop at night and steals everything, right? That stuff right there was like super important to not having the shop chained up for 6 months to a year, which it probably would have been a long time. Um, Basically, going through that process, I think we were down for what, maybe 3 days. Um, the shop itself didn't get done and rebuilt. I'll post some pictures on Facebook just so you guys have something to reference to. But it didn't get done and completed until about 2 months ago, which we're still not fully back in. The hardest part of that was we were uprooted, from everything. All internal systems were just demolished. Um, However, we maintain, going throughout customer flow, all that stuff. So I think the biggest thing that I can recommend to you guys is that we took away from it was, first thing, we jumped straight into a plan on putting battery disconnects on every single truck. Um, that is like so important. A lot of these trucks, especially with after treatment, will stay energized. Even after the key's off, you've got an energized truck. Um, a lot of people do other things other than truck washing, house washing, for instance, other types of washing, whatever it is. We deal with a lot of corrosive and conductive material or chemicals, detergents. So electricity will flow through a lot of what we use. It leaks out of trucks, it's on frame rails, etc. So first thing was battery disconnects. Um, Second thing, if you don't have cameras, get them. 100%. It tells a story. If something crazy happens, it will tell the story. It will give a timeline. Saves you a lot of headache. Like I said, I was told by the fire marshal that if I did not have my cameras, that them doors would have been chained shut for probably a minimum of 6 months. So at that point in time, whenever your stuff's on fire or the fire's put out, you're worried about, okay, what's going to happen to my customers? What happened to my equipment? Are my employees even going to stick around to see what happens? So it's like multiple things running through your head. All right. I can't even begin to explain that type of feeling. But regardless, so your cameras, your disconnect switches on the trucks, which if you look at ours, it's just like trash trucks. If anybody deals with that, they're mounted right by the battery box underneath the van body. So simple switch, less than $100 a truck. I'd say a couple other things would be wireless smoke detectors or Wi-Fi style smoke detectors. That was huge. All of our cameras are linked linked to our phone or my phone, so that way I can see, exactly what's going on. Which thank God that's that way, because if not, I wouldn't knew the fire even happened till the next day. Um, However, so are the smoke detectors now. So you can test them from home. You can make sure they're good. I think we use Xsense, but that was a huge one. So for us, um, the other thing, and I did not know this, but so they don't cut your door in half and just leave at the end of the night, and they go home, and you're sitting there with all your belongings out to the public. Make sure you put a Knox box on the outside of your shop. What it is that's going to allow the fire department to basically unlock your shop and get in the case of an emergency. If not, I promise you they will take a saw and they will cut whatever's in the way. They do not care. If a pry bar won't bust the door, they will cut the building in half. That's kind of it. I mean, the Knox box on the outside for the fire department. Make sure you've got the cameras. Make sure you got smoke detectors and the disconnect switches. Um,
Say about the ELDs or tracking.
yeah, so the ELDs came in. They came in pretty clutch for the investigation, because I was able. What they want to know is they wanted to know any current faults on the truck or past faults. They also want to know inspection stuff. They want to know what work was recently done on it. They completely dissect the whole thing. Last night I was kind of thinking like how I was even going to begin talking about this stuff, because there was so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ELDs basically came in pretty good, because just the information up till their last point of communication, until they melted.
Yeah.
So I originally put them on there for tracking fuel mileage, seeing where the trucks were at. You never know if one gets stolen, something like that. Um, we use Motive. I think Eric uses Samsara maybe, and I don't know if some other people use ELD systems, but that is the best money I have spent, is an ELD system for the truck. I know where it's at, what it's doing. If they're braking crazy, I get safety alerts. We get a safety score for the whole crew driving as a whole, and it'll actually, kind of, the system will coach everybody on what to do. Maybe they're turning too sharp. It measures G forces, on turning and braking, and it maps it all out for you. But in the fire case, it came in really good, because I could prove to them that the truck had been down since X time. It didn't have any crazy faults. It was where it was sitting when it caught fire, stuff like that. And I could also give them a history of like, hey, this isn't out of the normal. Like, this is where this truck belongs. So basically, I'd like to open it up to questions, because yeah, I mean there's so much to it. Other than it taking 10 months to get back together, and only being in for about a month or two, and having the office back for a month. So does anybody have any questions pertaining?
Learn anything when it comes to your insurance? Like
Yeah.
you didn't have what you did have.
First off, renew it. Same stuff we did last time. It's done. It's over with. I can continue on. No, go and ask questions. There's a lot of stuff I found out. It sounded sweet, like, oh, if something happens, they're going to cover a shop for me to go into. If this happens, they're going to cover payroll. They're going to cover this. No, there's a lot of hidden stuff. So for us, it sucked, because the two trucks that burned down were the only two with liability only. They were paid off. I had them for like 6 years, paid like $7,000 for them both, so 14,000 total. And it was just like, never really felt the need to have anything crazy on them, because they were high mileage trucks. But yeah, if I could go back, I would. So that's another. It brings me to something else. At least in Indiana, I don't know if it's as a whole. I did learn that our boxes, the equipment, if it is hard mounted, if it is screwed in, it becomes part of the truck. If you are going to add additional insurance, which I recommend on top of the truck, you need to have every part number off those units. pump. They want pump, gearbox, engine, everything. For us, what I did was I kind of mixed that into a maintenance logbook for our machines. I don't run any of the bio trucks. All mine are, skid units and stuff. So basically, what I did is I took basically made an Excel sheet, real simple. Um, Added the trucks, what machines, and I went through and did the pump, gearboxes, engines, etc., burners, stuff like that. That was probably the hardest part is going through and getting all the serial numbers, but they will ask for that. So,
I know I switched my agent because they quit coming to me. So
uh,
it's basically what you're saying.
right,
That's the only time that I get to see you. I pay you enough money a year.
right,
Come here.
right,
And when they quit coming to you, to me, it's just like, all right, you don't care. So
right.
I switched it all up. So,
Well, when he would tell me like, "Oh, they're insured, we've got this on it," I feel like I'm good.
yeah.
But I didn't know nothing about the machines on if they were bolted versus, a permanent versus non-permanent, fix to the truck. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know what that changed or anything like that. So I'm thinking, oh, I've got X amount of coverage on this truck. Well,
Yeah.
no, it's not going to cover the equipment. So luckily the boxes didn't catch on fire because they were insulated boxes. So we got lucky on that. But yeah, it was total loss on the other trucks. So, and I will tell you that a biogun can stay about 10 foot from a burning truck truck and a half that was fully engulfed and still operate fine. So that's pretty impressive.
Just while you're on the insurance, how it worked out for me.
Mhm.
Did that trigger, like, was there a complication with, because you're renting this building, their insurance versus your insurance as the tenant, and did it trigger, like, in the marine coverage or all the other things? 'Cause
No,
my fire, it was like a whole mess. Like, it triggered
right,
8 different insurance policies, like, from the air compressor and the DeWalt drills. That was a policy. That was, like, in the marine, and then the contents that were bolted to the wall, that actually, like the walls or the in trucks that you're saying.
right.
Uh,
I
so the
think,
air compressor is part of the building because it's hardwired in.
right.
A drill is not. Like if they can pick up and move it, or walk away with it, it's not. Like, did you have that whole insurance tornado mess?
No, like I was telling you yesterday, I think the reason why is because they were, in in my opinion, I felt like they were trying to basically say I started it. And if you go through it, you're going to feel the same way. Um, Even in my shoes, I knew that nobody had started this fire, but they will, basically put it off that way. And I was told that they treat every fire as arson until proven otherwise. That is their job. Okay. Um, I think I was more or less trying to play it safe, and I was like, I don't want to create all this crap going on because I've got, I'm the only one doing the office stuff. I've got 11 guys. I don't know what they're going to do. They could walk tomorrow. They're looking at a charred building. Um, at that point in time, I hadn't even got the trucks out. I had 5 trucks inside. So, don't know if machines, unloaders, guns, you name it, was going to be melted. So, I think a lot of the reason why I skipped some of the mess is because I kept it simple. I didn't go through and I didn't go through and I'm like, oh, air compressor's got soot on it. Yep, write that down. I was going through and I'm like, if it's visually melted and not usable, then it's toast. I'll write it down. But if it wasn't, then I was just going to risk it, right? If I could go back, knowing what I know now, I would write everything down. And that's my advice. If this ever happens, number one, build a list. Start building it now. Just an inventory list of everything. Um, I don't hardwire anything. Like my compressor now is on a plug, just because of that.
RO system.
RO systems on a plug. Right.
The other reason I asked, right? So we had 8 trucks, 4 trucks, whatever it was in the building. So and mine had full coverage on them. I had to open a claim against each one of the other trucks,
right,
to get it cleaned. It's like whatever. Like, we can clean the trucks, but I had to open a thing against, in the deductible barely paid for the clean of them. I had to open a claim against the trucks because the soot would have got into the computers and stuff down the line, and I had problems. And I did have a fire claim against it already. They would say, well, you just got a bad computer. Like, we're not paying for the computer. But by having that open, it opened it up so that if a year down the road I have an issue with that unit, I could go back and say, hey, the fire caused this damage too. So.
Right, exactly.
So that was one of the reasons that, like, they're literally triggered like
Does that mess with your title then?
No.
Considered like a salvage title?
No, not about fire. Just the ones that burned, and I let them take it.
Yeah, it's same situation with us. Luckily, on the other trucks, the only thing that was messed up was the corner caps up on the top. They all melted in. I didn't even open up a claim at that point on those. It was kind of like, hey, I've got to run these trucks like now. So we just kind of ate that. Again, it's easier to say it now, like, oh, I would have done this, I could have done that. But in the moment, I mean, there is everything. I mean, you're talking, think about going into your shop, sitting at your desk, sitting at your computer, the stuff, the freedom just to put papers on your desk and organize it, it's gone. Every bit of it. Any piece of organization is toast. Soot, I don't know if anybody's dealt with it in here, but it will go through a locked drawer, sealed. I don't care what's on it. It will find its way in. But yeah, we didn't really open up any other claims for the other trucks. Scrapped the 2 that burnt. And just got busy on stripping it all out. I think we took out, 4 40-yard dumpsters or something like that of stuff. Insurance, I mean, goes without saying. I mean, it's, you know how that went. So.
At the end of the day, they don't ever want to cut a check for anything.
No.
No. They're not going to do it. They don't want
right.
to do it. So you have the more documentation you can have,
the better.
The harder it is for them to fight you.
Right.
So, how did you, we talked about the staff a little bit. How did you keep them kind of moving along and motivated? Like, how did you lead your crew?
Man, I'll be honest, that first month was like a blur. I mean, seriously, it was like, I try to think back and I don't even know. I think it was more like I was worried about it, but.
Well, 24 hours later, one of the guys did text, so should I be looking for another job?
Yeah.
One of the
yeah.
guys
He doesn't work here anymore. Not because of that, but yeah.
But he was worried, your staff.
Yeah. They were concerned, but I think, I let them know, obviously, that night, right? Sent out a group text. And, I would like to think that everybody in this room doesn't really have the option to just go out and get another job, right? I mean, for me, that's not the case. I'm all in. I can't just go and get a 9-to-5. It's not going to work. It's not going to pay my bills. So, I reassured them it's going to work because it was going to work. Even if the machines didn't come out good or if all the trucks had issues, we were going to figure it out. So,
even though that was that was a huge challenge, how have you now, a year later, like, what's your feelings? What are you, like, what's been the benefit, like right now, looking back?
The benefit's been
how much better have you been for God?
I feel like it's completely different. I mean, don't get me wrong. Well, we're a month back in the shop, right? So we're still building that out. But we had a huge organized, like, chaos style mess, right? Everybody knew where stuff was, but it was just, if you brung someone from outside the shop in, they would have been like, this is wild. Yeah. So the organization's gotten better. We've gotten a lot of stuff up off the floor. It's less of a hazard, right? I would say only being in a month, I don't think we've really gotten to experience the full effect of, being able to reestablish. But I can tell you this, we've been able to set it up the way it should have been from the start. Over the years of knowing, like, okay, if I would start all over again, this is what I would do. Well, it's kind of a rough reset, but it's a reset. You get to paint it how you want it to an extent. So,
so don't go out burning your shop.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, I probably shouldn't give this advice, but I'm gonna give it. Let it burn.
Yeah.
Okay. Seriously, I mean, Um,
Get the camera.
yeah. Get cameras and let it go, because I'm gonna tell you right now, man, that is it's a mess. So yeah, I think it's harder to deal with on stuff that's not fully engulfed versus just soot damage. But
I think Brian.
yeah. No, I lease. Yeah, luckily the guys I lease from are awesome guys. They're in their 90s, but I think that's why they're so laid back, because he was out there smiling. He's like, I never had this happen. I'm like, me neither. I'm like, you know, but and I think that helped too. The guy that I rent from, I leased from him for a while, and he was reassuring that hey, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. So I think that also helped, relay that to the crew as well, and we did some things like, I think, keeping the crew running. It was 3 days before they would let us get the trucks out. We couldn't move the trucks for what, till it was probably 6 months, right? The trucks sat in there, caution taped off, placard, you couldn't touch them. So the machines, like anything in the box, it was off limits. You couldn't pull the guns out, couldn't pull the machines out, nothing. So we made do with what we had. I got clearance to roll a truck back. We caged the brakes, roll it back. We got the 4 or 3 trucks out, tested all those, cleaned those up, and we just got to work. I mean, we dropped probably 30%, 30 to 40% that September of the fire, but we kicked right back up, and then we got smacked with winter, which it was like the worst winter, one of the worst winters in a while around this area. But yeah, I mean, luckily I think everybody trusted me on what I was saying. Yeah.
I can say for guys on the crew, we kind of have this loyalty to Justin. It's almost like if something was to happen to your family member, you would be like, oh, that's your problem. No, man, it is. We spend more time with this dude than we do at home,
Yeah.
So of course, it's a family member. We're going, and not only is that, he's paying us. So if he ain't making money, we ain't making money.
Right.
We got to try and scratch each other's back here. Wash each other's hands. We got to help each other out. So
yeah,
we got to stick with him.
And we did, and that was another thing. We had a lot of guys on the crew that were eager to jump in and help. That's good. Yeah, it was a lot of hands-on stuff. So I don't think I fully answered Nate's question about the 2 insurance sides with Nick and mine. So to touch on that a little bit, I didn't really have any crazy issues. The only issue that I had was my insurance was telling me to go and do stuff, and his insurance was saying not to touch anything. So you got to be careful on that, because then you get into legality stuff. You start touching stuff, messing with things, then it starts making you look guilty of something. So my best advice is, if you do get in a situation from that and you're leasing, make sure you're in communication with everybody involved. Be there, shake their hands, talk to them, get their contact info. And if one person says to do something, you relay it to everybody. My insurance was telling me to bring in a crew to do mitigation on the building, get all the soot out. And his side was like, no, these trucks ain't moving. Nobody's coming in here, period. So I was fortunate enough to even be able to get our detergents out, which we had to run the lines out the door. Yeah, that was crazy. We didn't even have electric in the building. Hell, we didn't have electric for 6 months or something. Yeah. Ran an extension cord from the neighbor's building. Paid his electric bill every month. That was cool. But yeah. Anybody else got any questions on it?
Where'd you put the trucks, I guess? I mean, what? Oh, it's all out here? Right here.
So, yeah, we parked them outside. No, in the wintertime, luckily, they hadn't started on hardly anything. Okay. So, we started pulling stuff out, I believe, around wintertime, so we had room. This side over here, I had a friend of mine over here doing diesel repair. So he would have trucks in here just working on them, and we were close. So I had talked to him, and I was like, look, I need to put my trucks in that building, like just at night. They're going to run during the day. I'll make sure they run. I just need to put it in somewhere warm. So that was the other thing I didn't factor in. I mean, running a torpedo heater in the wintertime, like every day almost, that was costly. But you know, it's what do you do?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, whenever it warmed up, we parked them out in the gravel. I think actually the remainder of 2024 we parked them in the gravel. It was mainly January and February they were parked in here, which was fine. We were real fortunate for that. This side just had insulation damage. That was it. So it wasn't that bad over here. The other side, when I put those pictures up on Facebook, you'll see. I mean, it was pitch black.